Happy Wednesday and welcome into a special edition of the PHNX Sun Devils show. If you didn't know, it is early signing day. I'm Anthony Totri. We got DJ Jacob Franklin behind the Mac today. Buckle up, Arizona State fans, because we have a jam-packed episode for you today. We've got 5. I'm going to repeat that. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 interviews with new Arizona State Sun Devils who are a part of that 2024 class. You're going to be hearing from them here in just a little bit. But first, I want to tell everybody, hit that like button. If you're new here, leave a 5-star review. Let us know what you enjoy about this episode of the podcast. We got some diehards in the chat. We got Donna. We got LTC. All the guys are here. Roll call for anybody who is a regular on the PHNX Sun Devils show. Let's go ahead, take a look at some of the recruits and commits that Arizona State has been able to sign here on early signing day. Starting with the top of the list, guys, Jason Brown Jr. committed verbally to Arizona State a couple weeks ago. 4-star running back out of Washington. Had a few different offers. This kid, I didn't know this until a little bit earlier today. He was the Max Preps Player of the Year in the state of Washington. And I'm going to read you out his numbers just so you get an understanding of what this kid was able to accomplish at the high school level. He had 2,300 total yards and 37 touchdowns this past season alone. If you didn't know, 37 touchdowns, that's pretty good. The highest person on Arizona State, and mind you, the competition is different, the offenses are different, was, I believe, Scat. I believe Scat had 10 total touchdowns this past season. Jason Brown Jr. had 37. 37 of them. He enters a running back room now that has a lot of depth, a lot of talent. You've got guys like Cam Scatterboop. You've got DeCarlos Brooks. You got Jason Brown Jr. You still got Kyson Brown. You have Tevin White. You're adding Raleek Brown. Like, you have a whole lot of running backs now to choose from, and they all kind of provide a little bit of something unique, something different, and it's been interesting to see. Now you've got 3 running backs in that position room with the last name Brown, Kyson, Raleek, and then Jason, of course. But keeping it with the offense, another big addition for Arizona State. One of the guys that's been really leading the charge, not just on early signing period, but really trying to get some of these late recruits for Kenny Dillingham and company, has been none other than Jayden Fortier. Jayden Fortier, the 6'5", 220-pound tight end out of Oregon. He was the number 1 high school player in the 2024 class out of Oregon. Again, he fills a major position of need for Arizona State with the loss of Jalen Conyers to the transfer portal. And now you can kind of see how this tight end position room is starting to come together. You've got Jayden Fortier. You've got Bryce Pierre. You've added guys like Marcuston Douglas. You added the tight end from San Diego State, right? So you've got a bunch of different guys. One that was obviously here last season can further instill that Kenny Dillingham culture. You've got the young guy in Jayden, and then you've got 2 transfers in Marcuston and then the SDSU tight end as well. Now, Jayden, doesn't sound like Jayden will be ready for spring ball. He is having ACL surgery to repair a torn ACL. He expects to be back by the start of fall camp, which would obviously be huge for Arizona State to get him early on in that season. Now, you kind of take a look at some of the other recruits that Arizona State was able to get. They got Terrell Kim to flip late in the process. They got Rodney Bimage. Chris Johnson Jr. or Chris Johnson II is what he prefers. He's going to be, honestly, one of my favorite freshmen moving forward this season just because of the position group that he's in, the size that he's in, right? 6'1", $180 from Aledo, Texas. We'll hear from him a little bit later in the show, a 3-star cornerback who honestly has the potential to far outplay what his stars are. And I'm going to be honest, in terms of seeing him play alongside some of these other defensive backs. Me and Eric Ribby had this conversation the other day on the show, just taking a look at what this secondary has kind of transformed into, right? So you're adding Plas Johnson the second, you're adding Rodney Bimage, and you are adding guys like LaTerrence Welch from LSU. You're adding guys like Javen Robinson from Washington State. You're getting Xavier Alford back. You're getting Shamari Simmons back, right? So the secondary, not to mention you've got Keith Abney, you've got some of those other guys, Montana Warren from last year's team. The secondary has a lot of talent. Ed Woods, a lot of guys that could potentially go out there and be difference makers for Arizona State. The real question mark is going to be when we get to spring ball, which of them step up? Because I'll be honest, I don't know how many of them have a leg up on some of the other guys. Ed Woods, I would say, probably has the highest, leeway with it, maybe is the right word, just because he was a guy that played so much for ASU in this defense last year. But really, Xavier Alford didn't play because of the waiver. Shamari played, at times was great, at times, it faltered a little bit. And then you look at some of these young guys who got hurt last year. Montana Warren got hurt. Keith Abney got some run in some games early on in the season. And then you bring in those transfers in Javen and LaTerrence, and then obviously the young guys in Plas Johnson, the second, and Rodney Bimage. So it really is going to be interesting to see where some of these freshmen get reps. And I think spring ball is really where it is all going to start. Now, again, not all of these guys are going to be here for spring ball. The majority of them probably getting here in the fall. But keeping it with the commits before we get to some of the interviews, Champ Westbrooks is another one that I absolutely think is going to play a massive role, maybe not immediately on the field, but a guy from a locker room perspective, a guy that is going to be able to get his teammates motivated. If you just pay attention to what Champ Westbrooks has been doing on social media to try and further get guys to commit to Arizona State, the 6'4", 265-pound high school senior who plays offensive line, plays defensive line, he really can play anywhere, and he's got a passion and commitment to the game that I think is really going to translate well in Kenny Dillingham's system, and there's going to be a lot of people that like what they see from Champ Westbrooks pretty early on. If I am Arizona State, I'm probably looking at Champ to play along the offensive line, probably a guard spot, and it's going to be a unique position battle to watch throughout the spring, because you see the offensive line. You saw the departures in Asaya Glass, Joey Ramos. Then there are guys on the roster still. Sean Na. You're bringing in some of the transfers from Arkansas, from New Mexico, and then you've obviously got some of these younger guys who are a part of that 2024 class. I think out of all of the positions to start when you are a freshman, offensive line is usually the one for me that raises the most eyebrows. You see that with freshman quarterbacks at time. They'll get run, obviously, with Jaden Rashada last year. Linebacker, edge guys, cornerbacks. Here and there, you're always going to get a stud that starts as a freshman. Offensive line's a little bit of a different beast. Because, yes, you may be 6'4", 265 pounds as a high school senior or as a freshman. That's not always the right size to go and deal with some of these now Big 12 defensive linemen, some of these Big 12 linebackers. So it really is going to be a position group to follow. And I would say that position group, that and then the interior of the defensive line is probably the position group that I am most eager to see here in a couple months when we get to spring ball. And then we're going to hear from Kenny Dillingham tomorrow morning. So we'll definitely have that sound for you on Thursday's show. We could see what he has to say in terms of the comfortability with that offensive line, with some of the transfers, and then obviously the recruiting class, kind of keeping it down the list. Arizona State adding guys like Plas Johnson, Kanyon Floyd, Tony Louis Nkuba, Ramar Williams, Zechariah Sample, Albert Smith. There are a lot of guys who are a part of this Arizona State 2024 class that are going to be awesome to see in maroon and gold. And we're going to hear from all of those guys in just 1 second. I do want to get to some of the questions in the chat. Donald talking about Ramar Williams on the D-line is an underrated and not looked at enough either. Yeah, so just reading the numbers for Ramar. Ramar is an Arizona kid from East Arizona, 6'3", 250 pounds, the 17th ranked defensive lineman or edge guy in the state of Arizona, a 3-star dude. Not a whole lot of discussion about Ramar, specifically to Donald's point. This is a guy that you look at the edge rushers at Arizona State. I don't know necessarily if there is room for him to immediately compete along that defensive line, specifically at that edge spot, but you never know, especially when it comes time, spring ball, fall camp. What did we see with Arizona State last year? Injuries were a big thing. You never know with some of these young guys. Take Ashley Williams, for example, a guy who committed to Arizona State, was an Arizona State Sun Devil last year, committing out of Louisiana. Didn't play this past season, was great on scout team, was a big guy, and he was a more highly recruited guy than Ramar. So it is going to be interesting to see kind of how some of these, I don't want to say underrated, but maybe not necessarily the most highly touted commits, highly touted recruits, what their run looks like early in their Arizona State tenure. And then always brings up the question, how long do they wait it out? How long do they stay at ASU without playing time? But like I said, I do want to get to the majority of these interviews because we do have a lot of them. But first, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Game Time. Look, it's an exciting time to be an Arizona State Sun Devil with the football program. There's obviously so much excitement with incoming transfers with this 2024 class. And if you want to go watch Arizona State, or if you maybe just want to get out of the house, if you want to give the gifts of tickets this holiday season, Game Time is the place for you. They really do have the best app in terms of getting affordable tickets. And my favorite feature about it, I've said it time and again, is the fact that you can get the tickets and you can do it in small little payments throughout, and you get to really set the time period on when you want to actually take advantage of some of these payments. And Game Time, look, snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, we're getting much closer to the new year. Everybody's going to be setting out their New Year's resolutions. I know for a lot of people, it's going to the gym. For some people, maybe it's changing up something in the house, maybe a little bit of remodeling. In Empire today, if remodeling is on your New Year's resolution to-do list, remodeling with Empire today should definitely be your first call. With Empire today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Empire today is the best place to get new flooring. So of course, they're going to have some copycats, but look, Empire today, they can't be beat on quality, service, speed. Now, they're not going to promise the lowest prices, because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Look, schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount. $350 off is a lot of money, y'all, especially on the new year. Just it's worth the call. Again, schedule a free in-home estimate today, and all listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use that promo code PHNX. Don't forget that promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. Now, look, at the start of the show, we're going through some of the heavy-hitting recruits and commits that Arizona State was able to get, and Jayden Fortier is one. It's a guy that I've talked to in the past, and he's a guy that believes in Arizona State. He believes in Kenny Dillingham. He believes in Jason Mons. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a listen into what Arizona State's newest tight end has to say about his decision to commit to Arizona State. We've got a new member of the Arizona State 2024 class, Jayden Fortier, tight end out of Oregon. Jayden, first and foremost, man, just congratulations on your commitment to ASU.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I'm fired up to get down there.
You're one of the commits, I feel like, that, you've said that you're going to be a Sun Devil for some time now, and now we see you like on social media, like trying to go out there and recruit some of these other guys. What have been some of the conversations that you've had with other future ASU Sun Devils?
I mean, the conversation that I have mostly on the daily basis, just with the recruits that I was with on the official visit, and just people that I see on Twitter, getting offered by ASU. It's really just starting that line of communication, especially with the 25s and the 26s, just making sure that they know how special of a place ASU is. And then, obviously with my guys in the 24 class, making sure that they know that this is home. We're about to flip the program around. So I want them to buy into that.
Absolutely. A big part of that, obviously, being the coaching staff and Kenny Dillingham, and obviously the new offense as well. What kind of stands out to you about this staff?
I mean, I think it's the transparency and the honesty that they provide. They're an energetic staff. They're all relatively young, and they want to be in Tempe. They want to be in Phoenix, and they love the Sun Devil family and what the culture is and what the culture has been in the past years when we've been really good. We've been on a down slope. Obviously, last year wasn't what we wanted, but with the coaching staff and the new players that we brought in and just the energy that they all have, I think we're about to flip the program around. So,
What was the moment for you that you knew you wanted to be an Arizona State Sun Devil?
just Coach Mons, the relationship that we built, and being back down to Tempe, seeing the school in live action, seeing games, watching how the crowd interacts with the players, how the coaches interact, how the players interact with the coaches. Everything just stuck out to me. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a Sun Devil, baby?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, you're one of several new faces in Tempe. I'm curious, what is one thing that maybe ASU fans need to know about you, but they don't know right now?
Obviously coming from Oregon, we get straight rain out here. So I went up for my official visit in December, and it was straight sunshine. So coming in, just know I love the sunshine. I love being outside, and I love to interact with the fans. So if y'all see me, walking around, make sure to come hit me up, talk to me. I'll definitely hit you back. So,
I mean, you bring up the fans. For you, what would your message to Sun Devil Nation be?
I mean, just be ready because this is about to blow up. So stay tuned.
I know ASU fans definitely looking forward to having you in Tempe. Jayden Fortier, Arizona State's newest class of 2024 tight end. Jayden, thank you again, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Now, Fortier, obviously a big part of this class of 2024 on the offensive side of the ball, but we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show on the defensive side of the ball. A guy in Plas Johnson, the second, is certainly somebody who could have an immediate impact for Arizona State's defense with some of those departures. Let's go ahead and hear what Plas Johnson II had to say about his decision to commit to ASU. We're joined now by another member of Arizona State's 2024 class, defensive back Plas Johnson II. Chris, first and foremost, man, congratulations on your commitment to Arizona State.
Appreciate that.
What stood out to you about the staff, Brian Carrington, Rashad Samples? I know those were the two guys that mainly recruited you. What was it about the conversations you had with them that made you want to be a Sun Devil?
I just feel like it was definitely Coach BC, Coach Dillingham's, just really their commitment to me through my whole recruiting process. Coach BC was one of my first offers. He came to see me, and one of the only coaches that actually came and saw me and offered me face to face. And then so he was one of my early offers, and just staying on me all the way through my recruiting process. Even when I got bigger offers like Oregon, SMU, Utah, and they just really showed me, him and Coach Dillingham, how much they wanted me, and just showed love every time I was out there. So it was just a easy decision.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up some of those other offers that you had, big schools, several different conferences. The one thing that kind of sticks out and that is a little bit different about Arizona State is I feel like Kenny Dillingham, something that we've heard a lot from recruits, commits, transfers, is they can relate to Kenny Dillingham a little bit more because he's such a young coach. Did you feel the same way?
Oh, most definitely. Coach Dillingham, he brought a lot of energy to the table, and I'm a big, energetic guy, so I definitely felt the connection there.
Now, when you had your visit to Tempe and Arizona State, what stood out to you most?
Just the vibe and just the coaching staff and just the players that, they just everything stood out to me. It was way more different, way different vibe than everywhere else I've been.
When you talk about a different vibe, what exactly about ASU was that difference maker?
Like I said, I feel like the love from the coaches. I've had a lot of people that helped me through my recruiting process, and they just said a lot of coaches are gonna blow smoke up your butt. So just try to waver through it. And I definitely didn't see any lies behind the coach staff at ASU.
Now, for people that aren't familiar with your game, what type of defensive back are you? Where do you like to play? And then do you model your game after anybody specific?
I'm more of a physical DB. I like hitting. I definitely love hitting. I used to play running back. I didn't like getting hit. And so, of course, defense is the next best option. So I definitely love hitting. And I really don't model my game after anyone. I mean, there's a lot of tall DBs in there, like Sauce Gardner, people like that I kind of watch and kind of try to relate my game to. But I don't really model my game after anyone specific.
Now, for people that don't know, right, you're playing football, high school football in Texas. That's a different level of high school football. For people that don't know, what's high school football in Texas like?
I mean, every week's a big game. Every game's gonna be physical. It's just different. Like, just had my last game last Friday, state champs, and then going to the games the next day, watching Duncanville and DeSoto just go to war with teams from Houston. So I mean, all across Texas is just gonna be a big game every week, and it's just always gonna be physical. So I really love that about Texas football.
Yeah, Texas to Tempe, man, it's a thing. The Texas to Tempe pipeline is definitely happening with some of those coaches. Congratulations, obviously, on the state championship. I read somewhere that, is it one of your coaches or one of your mentors is Antonio Cromartie, longtime NFL cornerback?
Yes, that's one of my DB coaches that I hang out with or work with in the summer.
What's your relationship like with him off the field, and how instrumental has he been maybe in this process?
Well, he was actually my first ever interest when football, like recruiting wise, because when he was at A&M, he brought me out to a camp, showed interest, and then I went to the 3-day camp, and he just like, just keep going, you're gonna make it one day. And then every summer he started working out like individually by himself in Houston, and I bring my friends on there every summer at least for 2 weeks, and we just work with him. So he's like I said, he's like a big mentor, and I mean, him and my dad are really good friends, so that's another good thing. So I mean, it's just like another big uncle family member.
That's awesome. Now, look, you're one of several new faces that are going to be in Tempe, whether that, again, be some of these high school guys going up to this level or dudes transferring from other programs to ASU. To stand out, what's maybe something that ASU fans don't necessarily know about you yet?
What's something that makes me stand out? I mean, I'm everywhere. I'm always going to be outside. I mean, I love the fans, so if they want to connect, link up, I mean, I'm always outside. So I just love seeing the fans, love showing love. So I mean, I guess it's something that you look about me.
While we're talking about the fans, what would your message to Sun Devil Nation be?
I know we had a rough season, but best believe when 2024 class and this transfer portal class gets there, we're gonna turn it up next year for sure.
Most definitely. Arizona State's newest defensive back, Plas Johnson II. Congrats again, man.
Thank you.
Donald and Chad, good guys. CJ gets me fired up. Start him immediately. Yeah, look, between Plas Johnson II and Jayden Fortier and even Jason Brown, there's a lot of excitement with those guys. They have a lot of enthusiasm, and I think that's what you've kind of started to see from Kenny Dillingham in the type of player that he's going to get. Obviously, you need to have a level of X factor to you on the field to go out there and have guys like Kenny Dillingham, Brian Carrington, Rashad Samples want you on this roster. But you also got to have that level of personality. You got to also have that excitement about being an Arizona State Sun Devil, which is, again, an X factor in and of itself, I feel like, because you talk to some of these younger guys who do speak pretty well for incoming freshmen at the college level. And then there are also guys that you talk to that are coming to Arizona State from the transfer portal, and they have that same level of enthusiasm about this program. It really leads me to believe that Arizona State is in the right hands with Kenny Dillingham. And look, when it comes to being in the perfect scenario, a lot of these kids are going to find out really fast when they get to ASU what it takes to be a Division I athlete. And I think, again, Kenny Dillingham has set those kids up for success pretty early on when they get to Tempe, to be completely honest with you. And look, while we're talking about setting yourself up for success, something that is always nice this holiday season is making a little bit extra cash and doing it on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. They've got a great deal for you guys. If you haven't already signed up, now is the time to take advantage of it. Just download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com, sign up and deposit at least $10 into your BetMGM Sportsbook account and place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If that bet loses, again, that's $1,500 back in bonus bets. And if that bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Just go ahead and sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app of at least $10. And if that bet loses, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Just check the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
Now, look, while we're talking about the holiday season, obviously Christmas is first on deck here in just a couple of days. But if you're looking to make some New Year's plans or New Year's Eve plans, maybe check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos, guys. Nobody does it better. And now that I'm thinking about it, I can't imagine a better place to spend New Year's Eve. You know the vibes are going to be absolutely immaculate over there. They offer an authentic and immersive experience with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you are not going to find anywhere else in the desert. They have set a really high bar. From their state-of-the-art gaming floor to the dining ranges, from upscale to approachable. Check out their rooftop restaurant, Prime A's Shula Steakhouse, or grab a cocktail and a bite to eat by the pool. Like I said, they have it all over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. Now, look, we just heard from Plas Johnson II. We heard from Jayden Fortier, but I want to stick on the defensive side of the ball and take a listen into what Louis Nkuba had to say about his commitment to Arizona State. We're joined now by a new member of Arizona State's class of 2024, Louis Nkuba. Tony, first and foremost, congratulations on your commitment to Arizona State, man.
I appreciate you.
What was it about the staff and Kenny Dillingham that made you want to be an Arizona State Sun Devil?
So I just like the way they work. And Kenny, he's such an energetic dude, and I like the way he does everything, to be honest. He showed me everything. The city's a great place, and it's just everything I want to go work. It's a place to build. That's what I like. It's a place to build.
Was it Brian Carrington that was a part of the staff to go get you?
Brian Carrington, yeah, I've been messing with Brian Carrington ever since he was at TCU. So it was we were just being locked in. So I was the first corner he offered, and I liked the way he did that, and I feel like we was locked in. I trusted him.
Was that one of the reasons you opted to become an Arizona State Sun Devil, was because of that relationship with BC?
Yes, sir, for sure.
What do you like about the staff and really the scheme that they've got here at ASU? Brian Ward's scheme, obviously big on defensive backs. What do you like about it?
Sure, I like the way they're trying to put all DBs on the field. I like the way it's not about safeties. All DBs are supposed to be able to play all positions in the back end, and I like the way they do that. I like the way I'm finna play safety, corner. I feel like they can use me anywhere. I like the way they're gonna use me.
Most definitely. Now, obviously, you are one of several new faces in Tempe. What's something that maybe ASU fans don't necessarily know about you?
Shoot, I just turned 17 this week. I just turned 17 on Tuesday.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And you're going to go play Division I football?
Sir.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome, man.
Look, what would your message to Sun Devil Nation be?
Shoot, I'm coming to work, and just know you're going to get the best out of me. That's all I say. You're always going to get the best out of me.
ASU fans definitely looking forward to it. Louis Nkuba, a new Arizona State Sun Devil. Congratulations, man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, Donald in the chat. Holy hell, he's only 17. Yeah, think about that. Some of these kids, man, that Kenny is out there going to get, they're such talented young athletes. To be able to do what Louis Nkuba, Plas Johnson II, Jayden Fortier have already done in their high school tenures is remarkable. But again, I can't stress enough how impressive it is for those three guys to come on here to be able to answer the questions with the level of professionalism and wherewithal to talk about, the university, about the coaching staff. Like, that's a difficult thing to do. And for these kids to be able to nail it on the head, like I said earlier, it really just goes to show the type of player that Kenny Dillingham is going after, not just in the transfer portal, but with some of these younger guys as well. And I know, look, there's going to be a lot of people that, again, have their eyes on the 2025 season. That is really the year that a lot of people are really gravitating towards in terms of seeing Arizona State take that next step, take that jump, is that 2025 season. But it is going to start with getting some of these really, really talented class of 2024 kids in Tempe. And that's exactly what Kenny and this staff have been able to do so far, right? The three guys that we've already talked to, Jayden Fortier, Plas Johnson II, and now Tony Lewis, these are all guys coming to Arizona State out of the Valley, right? Jayden coming from Oregon, both the corners, and Plas Johnson II, and then Louis Nkuba coming over from Texas. Obviously, the Texas to Tempe pipeline is now a real thing, but a big part of what Kenny and the staff are building is keeping guys in the state of Arizona. And that's where I want to start with our next interview with Plas Johnson. Plas Johnson, a kid that can really do it all. He showcased that at the high school level, but now he's going to go do that at Arizona State. This is what Plas Johnson had to say about committing to ASU. We're joined now by the newest member of Arizona State's class of 2024, Plas Johnson, a local Arizona kid. Plas, first and foremost, man, congratulations on committing to Arizona State.
I appreciate you.
What was it about ASU and Kenny Dillingham and this staff that made you want to stay home and be a Sun Devil?
They're really great people. I trust them with like the ability to grow me as a person and as an athlete. And with Coach Bryington, he was Carrington. He was for my like position coach. He's just like the kind of person I can trust, and like I believe he can like help me reach my fullest potential.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned Brian Carrington being your position coach when you get to ASU. We talked a little bit before we even really got started. You played a bunch of different positions in high school. What is it about that defensive back position for you that made you want to play it at the next level?
It's really just a whole lot of fun. I really just like being physical, and and being on offense. It's just helped me with being on, like seeing what I can do to be better as a DB.
Yeah.
So I can like guard receivers better, both on and off. So
when did you know that you were gonna choose Arizona State over some of the other schools? Obviously, offers from Kansas State, Arizona, BYU. Like, was there a specific conversation or a specific moment for you that you're like, "Yep, this is gonna be home"?
it was actually on my visit when I committed, like on the low. It hasn't publicly said it, but while I was on my visit, yeah, I committed to ASU, and nothing had really changed my mind about ASU to decommit or change.
What was the visit like? Like, what did they have you guys doing? Because I know Kenny and the guys, man, they pull out all the stops to try and get you guys to come to ASU.
Just we had the photo shoot. The photo shoot was great. The dinner, like the lunch and food we got with them was great. Like spending time with them and going bowling and stuff. So it was a lot of fun, and I got to really see who both the the coaching staff and like even like the players and the people like that are like associated with ASU. I got to see like who like the true colors were and stuff. So, and I really liked it there.
Obviously, you going and playing at the Division I level is important for you, but I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, being able to play in Arizona, being an Arizona kid, and having the opportunity for your parents, your friends, and your family, at the high school level to come see you at Sun Devil Stadium, was that a big part in your decision at all?
No, not really. The main part was really just the coaching staff, how the coaches' work ethics were. Being in state wasn't a big deal to me. Not really to my parents either, but if I stayed in state, my parents would have liked it. But other than that, no, it didn't really have a big effect on me, where I would decide where to go.
So for ASU fans that don't know you, right, obviously coming from high school to college, there's not a whole lot of tape on certain high schools. But for you, what type of player are you? What type of defensive back? Do you model your game after anybody specific?
I just really like to be physical. Good. I really do like press a whole lot. I like press. I even play some off too. I really just play whatever, and I just really just hop on the foot and just do it. Really.
For ASU fans that obviously don't necessarily know a whole lot about you, what's something maybe that they should know about you?
I'm a big follower of Christ. I really, try to walk like Jesus on earth and just try to be a better person and like bring light to other people's lives, and that's probably like one of the main things I really try to point out.
Now, before we get you out of here, Plas, what would your message to Sun Devil Nation be?
I'm just really, really excited to see what ASU is really all about, and see how the coaching staff do, how we do, and ready to just grow really, because I feel like at this point we're at kind of like the bottom, and nothing we're gonna do is gonna like lower us. So from this point, I feel like we're just gonna rise and become better.
Absolutely. Plas Johnson, one of Arizona State's newest parts of the 2024 class. Plas, congratulations again, and thanks for coming on, man. Look, one of the things that I've noticed about some of these kids at Arizona State is getting specifically in the secondary. Talking to Plas, talking to Nkuba, talking to Chris Johnson, is they are all physical dudes, right? They all are defensive backs that aren't afraid to be those run stuffers, to go and be the Ro Torrance 2.0s, to go out there and lead the team in tackles the way that Chris Edmonds did at the safety position. And that's what you want to see from some of these defensive backs. That's what you saw from guys like Jordan Clark, right, in the nickel last season and in years past, is he was a guy that you were able to load in the box, and he was able to have an impact on ASU's run defense. And I think when you look specifically at Brian Ward's scheme, Sharon talking how much she loves just watching that Arizona State defense, it is certainly something that I think makes ASU an attractive spot for some of these guys, not just in the secondary, but also really in that front seven, defensive line, linebacker spots. You're looking for a defense where you can really showcase what you're capable of. In reality, like something that I don't think it's discussed enough when it comes to the Brian Ward defense, and the fact that there is a lot of moving pieces. They do like to send pressure. They do like to simulate pressure. That's fun. Football is a fun game. There are a lot of guys specifically at the high school level or that do only have 1 year of eligibility left that in their last season, man, they just want to have fun. And in this scheme, you can have fun. Just watch this defense and look what they did against Washington last year, right? The number one offense in the nation, held to no offensive touchdowns. That's a college football playoff team. Brian Ward's defense is something, and you get the right pieces into that defense, and it can be even more fun. Donald chat, hell yeah, Sharon, let's fucking go. I heard Totri is matching your contributions. Oh, is that what we're talking? Is that what we're doing, Donald? We're just.
I heard Totri is donating his whole salary to the NIL.
Is that what's happening? Well, look, I'm not gonna be donating my salary to Sun Angel Collective, but if you guys make some money with Arizona Lottery, then maybe just maybe, you can go ahead and contribute some to the Sun Angel Collective. We're talking about the holiday scratchers from Arizona Lottery. They make last-minute shopping easy, and they really do make a perfect gift. There are scratchers for everybody on your list, even the people that have everything. Everybody has somebody on their Christmas list that has it all, and you don't know what to get them. A holiday scratcher or two is really the easy answer, and they start at just $1. Just $1 for holiday scratchers with top prizes up to $500,000. Go out, buy your holiday scratchers today. Find a retailer like our friends over at Circle K near you at ArizonaLottery.com. You do got to be 21 or older to play. Now, look, when you make some of that money on AZ Lottery, you're going to be talking about, well, I've got so much money because I've won some of these top prizes. I don't know what to do with it. Well, OGs, I'll tell you, that is the perfect place to invest some of that money, because for me, OGs, take one at the end of the day right before bed, and it knocks me out through the night. I don't have any weird dreams. I don't wake up through in the middle of the night like I do with melatonin. OGs, guys, they really are perfect. And the best thing about those gummies is they don't taste like weed, like at all, okay? They have like legit like candy flavor, and they've got 1,000,005 different flavors. So go out, check them out. There is something for everybody in the OGs lineup. To learn more about OGs mouthwatering options and upcoming deals, head on over to ogsbrands.com. Jacob, I got a question for you. Watching Arizona State football last season, what would you argue is maybe one of the biggest positions of needs? Any sort of idea? What was there a spot for you?
Well, quarterback first and foremost.
Yeah, that was a spot. But there were some positions that were just, it was hard to watch. Right? It's hard to watch. And I know you don't know where I'm going.
I don't know where you're going with this.
But there was one specific position that if you're an Arizona State sicko and you watch all the games, you watch all the plays,
offensive lineman is certainly
offensive line. Certainly
Are you going
a
to
position in
linebacker?
need. No, I'm going even further out there.
Safety?
Going even further out there. For me, what was the biggest position of need outside the offensive line in the offseason? It was a punter.
Oh, yeah.
It was a punter because Arizona State, from a special teams perspective, was atrocious. When you have your starting running back punting the football, I would say that's a problem. That is a really big problem. So what Kenny Dillingham and company do? Well, they got themselves a local punter with the best name in the Valley, hands down. Kanyon Floyd. Kanyon with a K. Welcome to the Grand Canyon, Arizona State's newest punter. This is what he had to say about his decision to commit to ASU. We're joined by one of Arizona State's latest additions to the 2024 class. We've got special teamer Kanyon Floyd. Kanyon, first and foremost, man, congratulations on becoming an Arizona State Sun Devil.
Yeah, thank you.
What was it about ASU for you that you knew that you wanted to stay in Arizona?
So, it's close to my home. I live 20 minutes down the road. It's nice to stay close to home. I really like the coaches, Coach Rago and Coach Dillingham. They've been really accepting, and they show me, how much value it has to stay here.
What kind of stands out to you about Dillingham and the rest of those guys on that staff?
Well, I think Dillingham, he's really smart. He's really energetic. He's young. He's got I like his offense. I don't even play offense, but I can tell it's really good. Coach Regal, he's talked to me about his special teams, and it's a good scheme, and I can see myself playing in it.
Is that for you in kind of knowing where Arizona State is with its special teams? A lot of guys moving on. For you, wasn't it important to go to a place where you knew you could kind of get early playing time?
Yeah, that's also part of the scholarship. They're not going to give a scholarship to someone that's going to sit, so I wanted to go somewhere with the scholarship, and this happened to work out, so yeah.
What's something that ASU fans might not know about you?
I would say that I haven't been an Arizona State fan. Now I am, now that I've joined here, so.
Where were you a fan of before?
I didn't really have a team. I was going to be a fan of the team that I was going to go play for.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I guess keep your options open.
Yeah.
You had a bunch of different offers to go play Army, Navy, Air Force, etc. I know you played soccer in high school as well. Yes. Was there ever an opportunity for you, or maybe a thought of, maybe I'll just go play soccer?
No, I'm not very good at soccer. I'm still playing high school soccer. I ride the bench.
Oh man, you ride the bench, but you're a scholarship football kicker?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Look, before we get you out of here, what would your message to Sun Devil Nation be?
That we need to activate the Valley. We need to have people sell out all our home games. Support from fans really helps us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kanyon. Congratulations on your commitment to ASU, man.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing I love talking to some of these kids, man, is they're all so different. They're all so unique. They all got their own personalities. And, again, they're all going to be Arizona State Sun Devils here, a part of this 2024 class. And there are going to be some that play right away, and there are going to be some that don't necessarily see the field too often early on in their time in Tempe. But I'm curious, question for the chat. Just throw out the 2024 Arizona State Sun Devil, the new face that you're most excited to see when the season starts, when spring ball starts, or maybe a player that you think is going to go out and surprise you the most. I think for me, a player that could have, again, a significant impact pretty early on in their tenure at ASU is a guy we've already talked about in Jayden Fortier. I think, assuming everything goes right with his recovery from that ACL surgery, I think Jayden Fortier has the potential to go out there and be a high-level tight end at Arizona State. We've seen in years past the Sun Devils have had dominant tight ends. They haven't necessarily been used in the best ways, and I'm talking further than just this Jalen Conyers last season at ASU, but you look back to guys like Curtis Hodges, you look to Mosiah Swinson, you look to some of those Arizona State tight ends that didn't necessarily get the run that you thought they were going to. But look, tight ends are giants. They're huge athletes. Jayden Fortier is an athlete. The numbers that this kid was putting up in the postseason in the Oregon playoffs was absolutely ridiculous.
Didn't he have a 5-touchdown game?
I'm pretty sure he did. Let me see if I can actually find that.
So this is the thing. So Mike on the Wildcat show, one of the things he does when we do shows like this is he likes to pull a lot of huddle tape.
Yeah.
And they got Damon Williams out of Basha to commit down in Tucson. And I was watching his tape, and it's just crazy to me that, like, in high school, like, there's just these kids that you see that you're like, oh, like, it almost, like, jumps off the page. Like, when you're in high school, you can't really tell because you're just, like, you show up to Friday Night Lights, you're hanging with your friends, you're watching. It's a good football game. But, like, when you watch a kid that's truly special, you're like, why is he on the same field as the rest of these kids?
They're different athletes.
Yes.
They're different athletes.
So when you get a really special player, it almost immediately jumps off the page, and you end up with box scores like that one.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is his full senior season stats, okay? 60 receptions, 1,140 receiving yards, 13 receiving touchdowns. On top of that, 48 rushes, 271 rush yards, and 11 rushing touchdowns. That's on offense. He was also first-team unanimous wide receiver, defensive player of the year, and first-team unanimous outside linebacker. He's just a different athlete. He's a dude that literally...
built different.
He literally plays like 3 different positions, and he's the best at all of them on his team. That's what it says. That's what it says to me. When you have 24 total touchdowns, and you're also a first-team unanimous outside linebacker and the defensive player of the year, all right, what, dude? What? There are guys out there that can play 3-4 snaps in a game, and they're good. Like, that's all you're going to get out of them. This guy's running, dude. He's running miles during the game to be able to contribute for his team the way that he did. He is a big, big player for Arizona State moving forward. I tweeted it out when Jason Brown Jr. committed, but it feels like those two are going to be the duo going forward for Arizona State for years to come. And hopefully, right, that would be what you like to see. We saw in years past with a guy like Eno Benjamin getting to Arizona State pretty early on in his career. It felt like people knew that Eno was going to go out there and be the guy. You look at basketball. When Remy Martin got here, everyone's like, okay, Remy Martin is going to eventually be that guy. Jayden Fortier, Jason Brown Jr., 2 guys that I feel very confident in that will eventually be stars at this level for Arizona State. Sharon backing it up, saying Fortier, I really love how he's been such a hype guy for ASU on Twitter. Absolutely. Donald saying CJ or Brown as freshmen, Welch and Crooks as transfers. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how some of these transfers fit in with this 2024 class. But regardless, it is certainly a level up for Arizona State. It is a level up for Kenny Dillingham in this staff and for everybody that has been, a part of the ride thus far. I think you are really going to see everything start to pay off pretty early on in 2024. Because again, these players, they're about more than just, we'll get it right in 2025. We'll get it right in 2026. They want to win now. The college football expansion, they want to win now. They want to get to that college football playoff next season. Guaranteed. And then there's going to be media. There's going to be fans. There's going to be anti-fans that tell you that they are not ready, that they can't get there, that these guys aren't 5-star players. They're not blue-chip guys. It was brought up in the Die Hard Discord. These places, these states haven't necessarily been recruited by ASU staffs in the past. And it's not like Kenny just walked in to Oregon and got the number 20 player. It's not like Kenny just walked in to the state of Washington and grabbed the 5th best running back. No, Kenny Dillingham and the staff, they're walking into these states and they are getting the best player. They're going out there and they're getting the top player in the state of Oregon. They're going and getting a Max Preps Washington Player of the Year in Jason Brown Jr., an All-America running back. With the other running back on that list is Caden Durham. Caden Durham, the running back at Duncanville, I believe Duncanville High School, who is committed to LSU. Those are the running backs, right? Jason Brown Jr. is a guy. Jayden Fortier is a guy. Plas Johnson II is a guy. Arizona State fans, buckle up because it's going to be an exciting spring ball, and we're going to hear from Kenny Dillingham on Thursday. So like I said, we'll be sure to have all of what Kenny has to say for you guys on Thursday's show. But that is going to do it for our early signing day special episode. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button. And again, if you've enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow DJ Jacob Franklin at Jacob_Franklin4. Guys, that is going to do it. We will see you on Thursday. Actually, I lied. We're going to see you all tonight for an ASU basketball post-game show. And then we'll see you on Thursday. We're working overtime here at PHNX, so we'll see you a little bit later tonight. Go Devils, and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.